Sivaya Nama Tiruchitrambalam. Welcome back to our series in Saivism. Today we are going to talk about the four parts in Saivism. The four parts are called as Sariyai, Kiriyai, Yogam and Jnanam. When we talk about Sariyai, basically when you look at all these four parts, right, Sariyai all the way to Jnanam, it is the proposition that we are going to contribute. One is based on the physical effort, another one is the mental effort. When we talk about Sariyai, we can approximately imagine 75% of our physical energy is spent in worship. 25% is mind related. When we talk about Kiriyai, 50-50. Probably we will be spending 50% of our effort in a physical manner and 50% in a mental manner. When we talk about Yogam, it's just the other way. So we are going to talk about 75% mental contribution to the worship. 25% we are going to talk about the physical contribution. Whereas when we talk about Jnanam, it is 100% mind related, not really on physical. But is it possible for us to directly go on to Jnanam? Practically, it is not, because our mind, we all know, it is similar to a monkey, just keeps jumping around and it will not stay in one particular position. I'm going to be sitting in Singapore over here, but my mind is already in Australia, or my mind is already in the US. There is no time zone, there is no traveling time, there is nothing of those. Just in a jiffy, it's all there in the other side of the globe. Or rather, why do we talk about the globe? Even I can think about Mars or Uranus or Saturn, kind of planets itself. My mind is already there. So which means the mind is capable of jumping around and it is not going to be focused in one particular place. So how do we tame our mind is through the physical activities. That is what we are going to discuss in our today's session. So what happens with this Sariyai is, as we said earlier, 75% we are going to contribute based on our physical body, which means we go to a temple, we clean the temple, we just clean the place or clean the cloths related to the deities, help with taking the flowers and making garlands out of it. All those are going to be taken as a Sariyai. And as we said, 75% is physical effort. So obviously, even if our mind is jumping around, one point or other, it will come back, because we are trying to take a garland, make a garland. And when we are trying to wash the clothes, we will know that it's going to be for the deity. And to some extent, our mind will come back. Even though it is wandering around, it will come back. Now, when we practice this for a while, it depends on how confident we are. So there is no hard and fast rule to say 1 year or 2 years. It again depends on the maturity and the stability of the mind for each and every person. So once we have already achieved that our mind is already in a still situation, we will move on to the next stage, which is called as Kiriyai. Kiriyai is 50% physical effort, 50% mental effort. In this particular situation, this is the place where we can go near to the deities and clean the deities itself. Earlier, we were only allowed to clean the temple. Right now, we can even touch the deities and clean them. We can also remove the flowers directly from the deities and all these. Also, we can help in cooking the prasads for the holy dishes for God. When we are doing the servings and all these, right? We can actually go on with that particular services also. That is the second stage. Now imagine when we are near to the deity, almost touching and feeling the deity, obviously our mind will become a little bit more still. I mean, that's very natural, right? So when we are touching, we will be totally in a blissful state, getting ourselves immersed in that feeling. Again, this will go on for few years. It again depends on each and everyone's maturity. There is no time frame defined. After this, a person can move on to yoga. Yoga is not what we are talking about today, because today we are talking about hatha yoga, hot yoga, and all these. Those are not the ones that we are talking about here. When we are focusing in yoga, it means our mind is going to be having a oneness with this body, which means we are not going to just stretch our body and our legs and arms and whatever. Rather, we are going to sit still. Wherever we are able to bring our own, basically we do have our own Atmanadar, which is what the deity is, what we call it. Atmanadar will come into your mind wherever you are. Imagine when we are in Kriya stage, when we go and visit a particular temple, we will only be seeing that particular deity. For example, if I'm going to Mylapore, I will see Kabalishwarar in that particular temple. Same ways, when I'm going to Tiruvannamalai, I will be seeing Annamalayar over there. If I go to Chidambaram, I'll be seeing the cosmic dancer over there. But once we achieve the yoga state, even if we go to Chidambaram or Tiruvannamalai or whichever temple, whoever is your Atmanadar, you will be able to feel him. He will come in. So if your Atmanadar is Marundishwarar, wherever you go, whichever temple you go, Marundishwarar is the one that you will be witnessing over there. This is what Nambi Arurar's Tirupadigam, as in the 7th Tirumurai, we are able to see this kind of a state. Whichever temple he goes, end of the day, he will always come back and stay in one particular point and say, I'm missing Tiru Arur Peruman. Isn't it the same deity? Yes, it is the same. But the Atmanadar is the one which is going to be with us, who is going to guide us. So that concept is what we call it as yoga. This is oneness with the oneness and stillness. When we talk about yoga, as I said earlier itself, 75% is mostly on the mental side, where we will be focusing on one area. 25% will be the physical efforts. We do have physical efforts here also, but not to the extent of Sarye. And then we will start getting into a state which is called as Jnanam. Wherever we are, whichever situation we are, it doesn't matter. You will know that everywhere God exists. Today, theoretically, we know God exists everywhere, but practically, are we able to relate with that? No. Just a simple example to prove this. We know God is everywhere. If someone is arguing, we can argue back saying that God is everywhere with all possible, verses and proof from our text and all these. Immediately when someone is hurting us, we will immediately look up and say, oh God, are you there? Because we have not realized that God is here. God is in him as well, who has hurted us. God is there everywhere. But we will just look up and say, oh God, are you there? Which means, inner mind, theoretically we know God is everywhere, but our inner mind has not absorbed this concept 100% yet. This is what we call it as, we are still in the starting stage. Now, once a person achieves that, wherever you are, whichever state you are, Lord Shiva is with us and he is omnipresent and he is not going to go away from us. That is what we call it as Jnanam. Now, when we talk about these 4 paths, can we jump from one to another in a quick manner? There is no shortcut. Absolutely no shortcut. There is no way of bribing someone and getting to the next stage, because today those are all happening. So we can't really talk about those, because it goes back to the maturity of the soul. We need to give some time. You see how many births we have taken, how many lives we have taken, how much of karma we have accumulated. Based on all those karma, we have to get rid of it one by one, right? And we can't have a shortcut for that. Is there something that we bribe someone and get rid of our karma? Obviously no, because all these are energy. So what happens is, we need to start immersing ourselves, starting from Sarye. Then one situation we will automatically be moving on to Kirye. We shouldn't be evaluating us, because with our limited knowledge and with our limited mind, we can't really evaluate and say, oh, I'm already in Jnana. If you hear someone saying that I'm already in jnana, forget about it. They have not even started their journey, because those people who are in jnana, they will be in the oneness state. They will not even realize that they are in the jnana state. So that is the path that Saiva Siddhantam is explaining. So Sariyai, Kiriyai, Yogam, Jnanam. The four saints or the apostles who have shown us this path. Basically, when you talk about Appar Peruman, Tirunavukkarasar, he chose the path which is called as Sariyai. That's why he was emphasizing on cleaning the temples and all those. And the second path, which is the Kiriyai path, was advocated by Tirunjana Sambandar. We call him as Kari Pillayar. That's a pet name though, not his original name, but because he belongs to the place called Sirhari, we just call him as Kari Pillayar, but his original name is Tirunjana Sambandar. And the third path, which is given to us, is called as Yogam. Yogam was advocated by Nambi Arurar, commonly known as Sundarar, but there is no documented proof to call him as Sundarar, because he himself has not said his name as Sundarar, and even Periya Puranam has not given this. Actually, there is no proof. There is no proof to say his name is Sundarar based on the old text. So it has been manipulated, saying that his name is Sundarar, but his actual name is Nambi Arurar, who is the one talking about the Yogam state. And the Jnana state is given to us by Manika Vasagar. These are the four paths that has been advocated by our saints, and we need to also grasp these paths in order to achieve the concept of realization. I'll come back with you. I'll come back again with the next topic very soon. Until then, Sivaya Nama, Tiruchitrambalam.